important things to remember about scale practice on the classical guitar is that we need to be mindful and have a goal every single time that we practice a scale. Scales are useful for a variety of things. We could just have them to warm up the hands, to synchronize the left and the right hand. But often it might be the case that you will simply go through scales just to have the fingers moving and not actually be thinking about what you're doing. And if you're not thinking about what you're doing, then you can actually be reinforcing bad habits. Perhaps you're skipping strings and repeating fingers in the right hand. Perhaps you're playing an incorrect note in the left hand. Whatever it may be, if you repeat it, your body will learn it. So it's very important to have a goal with your scale practice, and that's what we're going to look at in this lesson. We're going to take the scales from practice routine number 5, and we're going to use these as examples of how we could use a scale to practice a particular goal. Let's take the first scale. We have a G major scale using IM free stroke, so IM alternation, and it's marked forte. So what things can we practice with this scale? Well, we've got G major, so we can focus on learning the notes. We could say it out loud. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So we can just practice our familiarity with the key of G and where those notes fall on the fingerboard. We could also focus on alternation, so it's IM free stroke. I, M, I, M, I, and a third goal we could have is forte, so playing a scale that's nice and loud. And that's not always something we're doing. We're sometimes just playing whatever dynamic comes to our fingers without thinking about it. But forte, we really have to push that sound, so the biggest sound we can make. So even with that one scale and a few directions there in the practice routine, we have 3 different things we could focus on. I and M free stroke, the key of G major, and forte. Let's move to the second scale, that's E harmonic minor. So already we have a new key center, that's E harmonic minor, same key signature. Now we have MI free stroke, so we're starting on a different finger, it might feel a little different. And we have a piano to a forte to a piano. So we have a crescendo up to the top of the scale and a decrescendo down to the bottom. Now, the crescendo and decrescendo in scale practice is vital to your practice process because we use it all the time in repertoire. We want to be very expressive with our crescendi and decrescendi. And no better place to practice that gradient of dynamic than in a scale. So starting very soft, louder, very loud, soft. Now that crescendo, decrescendo is really quite challenging to master because we want to get a smooth gradient all the way from piano, bit louder, bit louder, bit louder, you know, each incremental step getting that little bit louder, and that's a tough one to practice. So stay with the crescendo, decrescendo, because we want to make it as extreme, as contrasting as possible, but also as smooth as possible. A couple of tips to help you with your crescendo. One idea, which is a little counterintuitive, is to actually focus on the pressure in your left hand. We often try and keep them separate, so we're playing loud in the right hand and yet keep a supple left hand. But the truth of the matter is that our hands are rather connected. And so if you start thinking soft with your left hand, you'll probably get a nice soft touch in your right hand. A little more pressure in the left hand, more pressure. Pressing quite hard here. Letting up. I encourage you to give that a try, that pressure in the left hand to encourage a crescendo and decrescendo. It's quite an effective way to go about it. And of course, the other thing to do is just to focus on your right hand. Can you get a smooth gradient? Maybe you want to just practice on open strings to start off with 3 notes. Change. Change. Now down. Softer. It's worth quite a bit of practice time right there just for crescendo, decrescendo. All right, let's have a look at D major now. We've got IM rest stroke, so the right hand is doing different movement. We also have accents. Now, the reason we have the accents in the rest stroke is not a coincidence. Rest strokes are wonderful for doing accents. We have to control our rest strokes here. So the first one is accented, then a little lighter, heavier, lighter, heavier, lighter. They're all rest strokes. Then on the way down, the accents are a little different, so we have to be mindful of where they are. Loud. So all together it sounds like this. Loud, accent, 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 no accent, 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 accent. So a good goal there with that D major scale is accenting these notes with a controlled rest stroke. Okay, the next scale is C major, MI free stroke, but here we have the focus of staccato. This is an articulation that can be very, very expressive in our music. Here it's going to be all right hand staccato, and by that I mean that we replace our fingers on the same string to stop that string. And the staccato notes here are very selectively chosen so that the right hand staccato can work. Here we go, so it goes M, staccato D, staccato E. We're using the next finger in our alternation to stop the string. F, G, A, staccato, staccato. So. Lovely articulation there and a control in the right hand to get those nice short detached notes with staccato. All right, let's look at the next scale, A minor, IM rest stroke. So we have a new key, we have rest stroke, and we're looking for mezzo forte, so a nice robust but not loud sound, and we're looking for tasto. So we might get our right hand moving up the fingerboard here. So it might sound like this. Nice warm sound and using that rest stroke, so controlling that tone with the rest stroke. F major with the thumb. This is a different technique altogether. We have a decrescendo going down and a crescendo going up. So starting nice and loud. A real trick to getting good decrescendos and crescendos is starting an extreme. So although it's not marked fortissimo to pianissimo, let's just take a really loud and a really soft, and that way we can have a lot of room to have contrast. So starting loud. So nice loud beginning and end and a soft descent down to that F. All right, finally we have D harmonic minor, MI free stroke, piano, and ponticello. So a lot of character in this sound. Ponticello, let's get a really nice bright sound, and we can do the D harmonic starting with M on the free stroke. And soft. So there you have it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 scales with clearly defined goals in each one. And hopefully that gives you an example of how you might practice your own scales. You come up with the techniques that you need to work on. Maybe it's staccato, maybe it's accents, maybe it's free stroke, maybe it's alternation in the right hand, whatever it may be, and have a clear goal for your scale and keep working on it, repeating it until you can really master that particular technique.